Hello, everyone. Welcome to Modern Handgunners. I'm Bob Mayne from the Handgun World podcast, and joining me is.
Ben Branam from the Modern Self Protection Podcast. And today we're going to talk about some really cool stuff.
Yeah, we like to do a lot of reviews on this channel. We like to talk about guns, magazines, accessories, even shooting techniques from time to time. And this video is going to be about a new magazine I got. And I kind of got lucky getting one of these because even though they're pretty cool, they're very hard to find. So, a listener to my podcast sent me an email a few days back and asked me if I wanted to try one of these out. And of course, the answer is yes. So, and he's allowing me to use his name. Thank you, John Tidd, for sending me these. I appreciate that. It's one of the most rewarding parts of doing shows like this is sometimes generous listeners, they support you.
That's pretty awesome to get fun stuff in the mail.
Yeah, it's good. It's awesome to get fun stuff. So, excuse me. Here's what they are. Shield Arms S15 magazines, specifically made for Glock 43X and Glock 48. So here's the Shield Arms magazine. This is the regular Glock 10 round magazine that comes with these pistols. For people who might not know, the Glock 48 and the Glock 43X, the frame are exactly the same. There's no difference in the frames. The only difference is the slide and the barrel. So Ben, I know you like metal magazines.
Yeah, most of my guns are metal magazines, my Smith & Wessons and stuff.
Yeah.
They're thinner.
They're thinner. And one of the criticisms of Glock, and rightly so, it's a fair criticism. The plastic polymer magazines, frankly, I've never had a problem with them in 16 years of shooting Glocks. I think the first one I bought, 14 years, 2006. I've never had a problem. But you're right, Ben. They are, well, you think they're thinner, but actually the width of these are about the same. But they just seem to work better when they're metal.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but so we were going to talk about why that works because you've got the Glock magazine, that's the plastic magazine, and it's 10 rounds. And then
Yeah.
the metal one is 15. And obviously, we would have been out at the range shooting this thing to see if it actually works and how well, except for that we are stuck here because of the coronavirus.
That'll
So
be
all we
part
can do
two.
is go,
That'll be part two.
hey, I got the cool thing and I get to play with it.
Yeah.
But when you look at the magazines, they're outside, the dimensions are exactly the same. But then how does one hold 10 rounds of 9mm and one holds 15 rounds of 9mm?
Engineering.
No, it's actually the difference in the plastic between the metal.
Okay.
So the plastic has to be a lot thicker, and Glock traditionally puts an aluminum lining in their magazines. I don't know if they're doing that with those or if they just did that with the original ones. So they got a little bit of metal lining in there too.
You can probably see it.
Yep, there you go. So the body of the magazine, the material, is a lot thicker on the plastic than it is the metal. Mm-hmm. So the inside volume is actually higher on the metal magazine than it is in the plastic magazine. And just to get rigidity out of the plastic, you have to do it a little bit thicker than the metal, or we would just, take the plastic mag and push in on a little bit, and it would bow and bend, and the spring would bow and bend the plastic, and that would just not work for us on magazines. So the plastic magazine's got to be thicker, so the metal is thinner, so you can get more inside volume, and voila, we can get more volume, more rounds in the magazine. And that's really what they did. It was pretty smart of them to do that.
Very smart. And what's key about these 15 round mags, okay, take my Glock 48 pistol, for example. All right. So with the factory mag, it holds 10 rounds. So basically what this is this is a slim Glock 19. The dimensions of this pistol are pretty much the same as this pistol. Whoops, I'm sorry. Made a mistake. Pretty much the same as this one, which is the Glock 19. Here's the Glock 19, Glock 48. They're pretty much the same. We won't do it on this video, but if you were to hold them up next to each other, they're the same. Problem is Glock 48 only holds 10 rounds. Well, no longer. Now, the Glock 48 with the Shield magazine holds 15 rounds. So it turns this pistol into a slimline Glock 19. So for those of you who like the Glock 19, now you got one that's probably 25 or 30% thinner. and I think I'm really excited to go to the range to try this out.
Yeah, and you still had the problem with those metal magazines, though. Getting those, it took you somebody to gift you one, and it's not because you didn't want to go out and buy one. You were, how long you've been trying to buy one from that company?
I've been trying to buy these for about 5 or 6 months, and I got lucky. And so that's one of the problems I got to say. I think Shield Arms needs to fix the problem of availability because there's a lot of people that want these. They got to fix that issue. The other issue, there's a small issue this creates, and that is on the Glock 48 and the Glock 43, the magazine catch or the magazine release button is plastic and it's polymer, okay? So that's not good. When I constantly put in a metal magazine, and Shield says this on their website, Shield Arms says it on their website, and so does everybody else, you got to change this out to a metal magazine release button because of this right here. This is a metal magazine and a metal notch right there. So it will wear down. It will wear down and pretty much wear out the polymer magazine release button. Now, Shield Arms on their website, they also sell, very smart, very genius, they sell the metal mag catches. And there's another I found out yesterday another company called Hive Technologies, Hyve. They also have them. But guess what? They're both out of stock.
Imagine that. Everybody wants them. They're all out of stock. That's kind of everything in the gun world right now. But yeah, that's super cool. The other question that I'm going to know people are going to get, why can't we take our Glock 19 mag and turn it into metal and then make that have such bigger volume too? And I can tell you that pretty quickly right now
Okay.
is I've got my shield mag here, and if you look at the shield mag on top and around it, you can see this is my, I'm sorry, not my shield. This is my Smith & Wesson M&P 9. See those grooves in there?
Yeah.
Those grooves actually extend inside the magazine, and they make the inside of the magazine volume thinner. They make the rounds go compressed thinner. And we go back to the days, and I'm pretty sure that it was John Moses Browning that decided how to make that perfect double stack magazine and what the width should be. And it goes all the way back to that P35 or the Browning High Power that he started to design at the end of his life, and it was the last pistol he was working on when he died, and somebody else picked it up. But I'm pretty sure he got the magazine right before he died. And what's the hardest part of any automatic, and what's the one that fails? Is our magazines, right? So he figured out how much those double stacked rounds could stack on top of each other and stack to the side and still feed up in there. If you get them too far to the where they're like side by side, they're both going up and one isn't going to feed into the chamber. So you had to have that
Okay.
perfect stack, and he kind of figured that out. And so you get a lot of magazines like this Smith & Wesson, that this one was designed for a 40 and a 9mm, and so they could use the same grip frame in their guns. And the 9mm magazine, since it's so much bigger round and it was too big a round, they just put those grooves in there to make the rounds a little bit closer together so they would stack correctly going up.
I didn't know
So
that.
Glock has that same kind of size inside their plastic mags already, because we talked about the thickness of the plastic being more. So they have the same kind of offset stack as almost every other gun does right now. They're almost the same and identical because, like I said, Browning just figured it out back in, like 1920, 1915, somewhere in
Yeah,
there.
whatever that was.
Yeah. So now
Whatever.
they're all the same. So it's kind of cool. But that's why you can't just take your Glock magazine, make it metal, and put more volume in there and put more rounds, because you got to have that little double
Okay.
stack. But when you go to that single stack round, one that you're using, Bob, that's easy. You can offset them a little bit with the metal magazine, and you can get 15 in there instead of the whole 10. And I'm not sure why Glock didn't do that from the get go, except for that they are a major plastics manufacturer, not a metal manufacturer. So, most of your magazines are all like stamped steel, hollowed out steel. They're really cheap steel, and Glock just doesn't do that. They do really expensive high end machining for their slides and stuff, and then they do injection molded plastic on everything else, so their magazines are really way easier. And I think the ejection molded plastic that they use is probably going to be a lot cheaper to manufacture than the steel ones were. And you can
Probably.
see, and you could see by, man, those the ejection molded magazines for Glocks just keep going down in price. I mean, Magpul makes some, all these other companies are making them, and the price is just super cheap.
Now, let's talk about price since you brought that up. Um, we're going to put a link in the show notes below this video for everything we're talking about. But I think on the Shield Arms website, these mags are $39.95. I think, and that's that's not low price mags. It's not like regular Glocks, but the quality of this is outstanding. Hard to show on video, but I think it's well worth the 39.95. And here's the other thing. Here's another reason why I think it's worth the money. Okay, now my Glock 43X. There are a lot of pistols out on the market right now that you can buy, and out of the box, they hold more rounds than the Glock 43X. I mean, I have a SIG P365, and it holds the same, but you can buy a nice 12-round magazine for the P365. However, once I put a 15-round magazine in my P365, it's pretty much the same size as the Glock 43X. But I like to have the full grip I can get on the 43X versus the SIG. The SIG uses extensions, okay? And extensions are okay and they're well made, but I'd like to have the full grip that both the 43 and the 48. And now I got a 16. I mean, look at this little thing. Now it's a 16 round gun. And that's kind of a game changer.
I got to say, maybe I'm thinking about going to that Glock 48. I really like the Glock 19 was just the perfect size pistol, and with 15 rounds on board, it was great. The Glock 48 with 10 rounds, we tested that when it first came out, and you got it, and I could shoot that just as well as the Glock 19.
Me
And if
too.
you add 15 rounds into it, now it just becomes a slimmer, more comfortable to carry package.
And especially if you have small hands. Now my fingers are super long. So you know what? A Glock 19 fits me, no problem. But some people have a hard time. Glock 19 doesn't fit them. I think the 48 will fit you just perfectly. No more finger grooves. Nice slim grip. Even what they even did on these Glocks is they've even improved the beaver tail here a little bit to avoid slide bite a little bit better. So yeah, this is a great shooting gun, and I can't wait to get to the range. I'm going to go ahead until I can get my hands on the metal mag button. I'm going to go ahead and shoot the plastic one. If I wear it out, I'll buy another one or I'll buy the metal one once they come in stock.
Yep, just can't use it as your carry gun until you get it all set up right.
True, true. But so Shield Arms, hurry up. Let's get those in stock, okay?
I'm with you. Let's get a couple of those going because that sounds like a game changer right
But
there.
I got lucky and I wanted to talk about it here on Modern Handgunners, and it's also over on my Handgun World podcast YouTube channel. But here today I covered some things that I didn't cover on that video.
All right, Bob. So, what other great things can they get from us?
Oh, well, actually, a really great thing. You know, training is one thing, but practicing is another. Once you train and you get the information at a training class, now you got to go to the range and practice it. And you and I together do a Shooters Club member site. And on that Shooters Club member site, we've got probably close to 90 videos. And I think the major benefit you're going to get is how to practice. You're going to look at that and you're going to see a lot of live footage from our classes. You're also going to see just Ben and I demonstrating some techniques. And I think it's going to give you some good practice ideas, maybe a little bit of training. But here's the cool thing. It's only $8 a month. $75 for an annual membership, $8 a month for a monthly. Well, and it'll be good for a year as long as you keep paying the $8 a month. So Ben, where can they find that?
You got to go to shootersclubmembers.com. That's shootersclubmembers.com and sign up right there. To echo what Bob said, I think this is good training on those videos, but it's great practice. So this would be a great augmentation to other training that you've already gotten in real life by an actual person. But if you can't get there, I know we're all stuck. I mean, me and Bob can't even get out to the range to film these videos. We're stuck seeing each other on Skype and waving and looking. I can't even touch his new magazine. Come on. But
Yeah,
if you can't get to real training,
making you jealous.
yeah, If you can't get to real training, the online stuff is the next best thing. And Shooters Club really has some great stuff. It's one of those. It's one of the cheapest things you're going to find out there to get some great training.
And speaking of that, we recently did a video for brand new gun owners. And we also did a video for some of you who might be watching this and you're experienced gun owner, but you might have a family member that just got a gun during this COVID-19 crisis. And now they're coming to you. Hey, Joe, how do I use this gun? I know you've been shooting for a long time. So join the Shooters Club. Watch that video that Ben and I did on there, and that'll give you some tips. And again, below this video in the links, we're going to put a Shooters Club members link there, so it's an easy sign up process.
And that's shootersclubmembers.com, because I know some of you are listening to this audio, some of you just watching and can't read the stuff, but you can remember the site.
And Ben, you want to talk a little bit about your audio podcast? Comes out almost every week, I think.
Yeah, so if you want more stuff from me, you can go to modernselfprotection.com and you can see all the links there. I do a post once a week. I do a couple different podcasts a week over there, and it's all about keeping yourself safe in these horrible, crazy times.
In fact, I think you recently did some preparedness information on pandemic preparedness, and I did too over at handgunworld.com, which is where you can find the Handgun World podcast. My last two episodes, 501 and 502, are all on common sense survival and preparedness, which we all need these days.
And Bob is a great teacher when it comes to that stuff. If for nothing else, go listen to his series he's doing on that survival, pandemic, whatever you're calling it right now, Bob, just the basic survival stuff. It's great. Keep it up. So anything else?
All right.
Last words?
That's it. No, that's it for my last words. What about yours?
All I got to say is no, I don't have anything to say is my problem. I thought I had something and I don't.
For all of you viewers, you just witnessed a rare moment. Ben doesn't have anything to say. Wow. I never thought I'd see it.
So thank you all for listening and watching. Modern Handgunners out.
Out.